everyone. I'm Alex Chertok. I got my MFA at Cornell in poetry back in 2012. I now teach part-time at Ithaca College in the writing department, and I still teach at Cornell through the Cornell Prison Education Program. Now, the couple fights. Our silence was too bright. I had to turn away out the window into the milky evening, half blue and bottled, at a passing field of late summer sunflowers who couldn't bear to look in either. Just then the song we called ours came on. We knew it by such heart we hardly heard it anymore. It was ours. We'd held it innumerably in our mouths, but here it sounded like the thrum we imagined it was before we first listened the life into it. Here the snare drums bared their gritted teeth against the track. Who can say whose anger this was? It was small and ours. It was nothing. It was a silence from earlier in the night, from not listening. It was from 4 years before, when our two blisses clashed and kept trying to cleave their solitudes at once. The car was tuneless as the drip feed of the moon. A deer dipped its head to lap it up off the center line, and our headlights sheared its flank. We braked and skidded to the shoulder and nearly into a ditch where who knows how many shredded truck tires masquerading as roadkill hid, dreaming of flight. She put the car in park, headlights off, then engine, and in the new darkness that a deer narrowly missed can make, our hands touched. It was what the sunflowers wanted all along. Who can say who reached for whom? The deer was rear view and whole. Clash and cleave went our fingers through each other's. We were miles from home. We were miles and miles in the making. This is the one that is featured in Stone Canoe. It's called Practicing Surprise. My wife and I went kind of on a spree of watching birth announcement videos on YouTube. And it must have been precipitated by my sister-in-law was pregnant at the time. We were vaguely considering this for ourselves. Hours of birth announcement videos. It was a blissful, unexpectedly emotional experience, and this poem came out of that. It's called Practicing Surprise. I spent the better part of the evening at the mirror, practicing my surprise into the pregnant wife's birth announcement of my own reflection. She just told me in one of the viral ways. Ultrasound as bookmark. Balloons gasping from a big cardboard box. A note curled inside a fortune cookie, waiting for the second it takes to be freed, then to be read, then for the word Dad to be mine. Fake board game, bun in the oven, pair of tiny socks soon to be filled, not yet, but in a way already is. All tenses at once, all caught on a camera, shaking with the screams of the Earth's future plates pulling apart to make room. With a chair nearby for me to shoot up from and find again. And a table to slap as the ropes of my breath lashed shipshape a moment before come undone. I'm trying to get it right. To be the husband who cries and hides my face because it's pulled by one of every feeling. I want to not look up from her neck for a while. I practiced this tonight. Dry runs of pulling away to beg her not to mess with me before burying back in. My mother will cover her face with her hands when she hears, and my father, once he gets it, will cover his hands with his face. The half-hug with my father-in-law, with whom I'm wont to near feel, will open into a full one. One gets only so many of these. I want to stick this landing. Tonight in the mirror, I practiced forgetting I was there. My shock was that great, will soon be, that uploadable. When I will do away with my body and all there is hers, the only is on earth that ever was. When I will be pure audience to her and the unseen face she's making, assuming she can make. Assuming I can. I practice this, having a say in my heart's tectonics, my earth's own magma, a palmist of where my own hands will go. This also stems from a YouTube experience that I had, watching a very recent clip of watching Rick Springfield. We know him, right? Jesse's Girl. performing that song in 2016 or something. And it occurred to me how many times that man must have performed that song in his career, and how I was amazed at how he could sustain the energy of those lyrics decade after decade. So I devoted this poem to him, and I hope that it ends with a kind of a note of celebration. It's called To Rick Springfield. At the chorus, Rick Springfield, your smile fades to dark, like a chime's last note in air. Are you dreaming of saying goodbye? Its beautiful molting? Are you dreaming of our small crushes that die the way skin sloughs or basil bolts, quietly and from too much ripeness? You sing her name again, the one you've sung and sung without saying once. We know it only as possessed, like you, drawn strictly to the taken, the turned away. Surely a new man's girl has sunk her tusk into your battered melon by now. Surely wanting without being wanted back won't last this long. The holding out, over and over. The holding on and in. Your eyes stay shut like the mouth of a child who's practiced his signature and grown tired of the arabesques. At the verses G, A, D, our hands go up. You don't mistake this for worship. A one-woe wonder, moaning out of a worn sound hole, knows what we hold. Our own Jessies, our own meting out hurt to the air in lieu of tasting the wanted body's unnameable mouth. This room's hearts are all moot. We'll never find love in this song. Those first three chords give away your loneliness like a gift of healing. What does it look like, behind all that smoke and light, to be given back ours? Just two more. Another ode, I suppose. This one is called To the Man Cutting Cemetery Grass. It's always exciting to read poems that you've never read yet. This is somewhat new, and the air has never heard this before. To the Man Cutting Cemetery Grass. I once pressed my face to the car window, and instead of Mayday, your hands were easy on the gears, all zero-turn radius. Every bump in the road was a body, and yet you smiled into the sun my younger self called soaking hot. You slalomed through stones without grazing a psalm. Were your shades so the dead couldn't steal from you what a camera's flash once could? I called out, but you didn't turn. Behind you, a woman kneeling over a grave whispered with her hands clasped behind her head to brace for the gunshot grievers feel breathing down their necks. Somewhere else, a man must have been making promises into the moon of his pregnant wife's belly, then up into the blemished, patient vice versa. Our songs were aimed at a faraway gravity. The hearer could feel nothing, no sun or joy or listen, trembling and smushed-nosed boy soaked under his white-knuckled sky, or fear. Okay, this is it. I've never played this instrument before. Every high school has one of these. I think perhaps I wish that I had been one of them. It's called the high school's one bassoonist. Is there a bassoonist in the house? You, ex-bassoonist. I'm curious about your. What's that? We'll find out. The high school's one bassoonist. All eyes. I'll start that again. All eyes on me wrangling my whale rib in its case down the hall. And then the flutist passes with her rivulet stuffed in her backpack, as if pain can be hidden in plain sight. Her beauty doesn't need so big a breath. Mine's too barely made out. More a candle from a nightmare that, no matter how blown on, won't be flickered. More a whale mother's call heard from above water, or the sound of her calf not coming back. Too big-bodied, too wooden, too hard-won. My classmates look away from me. Beauty. Nobody can hear it, but it's mine. It's mine because of this. I say it into my locker where the bone can hardly fit. Beauty. The word kindles a fire there. The wind of my whispering makes a fever dream of its reed smoke, and I melt into the hallway's green linoleum. I picked the breath cage of the lost whale calf from the band room's ocean floor for such melting. Beauty. There's no such thing as too much. My whole head coos with flame. Let the trumpeters throw their sawdust on. Mine's the odd moment after, as the pupils go quiet. Thank you.